and was bestowed the Higher Education Forum Best Teacher Award on 5th September 2011 by Dr. Indu Sahani, Sharif of Mumbai, for his outstanding contribution in the area of HRD, career planning, and guidance. Now I request Professor R.S. Mani to further continue the session.
Namaskar. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of several senior colleagues on this platform, and it has been very educative listening to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Gopal, for this invitation, and I'll be delighted to share with you some of my thoughts and views on this theme which you have taken up for this conference, where I understand there are many students who are part of the audience and some faculty and executives too. As was mentioned to you, I currently hold the portfolio of the president of the Bombay Management Association. And the Bombay Management Association has been, over the last 65 years, contributing to management development in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and the country at large. Most of the work that BMA does is in the form of seminars, educative sessions, learning, activities, MDPs, etc., etc. As all of us know, come April last year, due to the lockdown, all the physical programs had to come to a standstill. And therefore, BMA swiftly moved on to the digital platform. We conduct webinars every Wednesday and Friday for the benefit of executives, students, academicians, small and medium enterprise owners, and anybody who wishes to learn. And I'm happy to share that over the last 11 months, we have done about 90 webinars. And the process continues even today evening being a Wednesday and day after tomorrow being a Friday. The whole idea was to create an engagement with learners that come Wednesday evening, come Friday evening, BMA is rolling out a learning opportunity for you. With the support of my colleagues on the BMA Executive Committee, we have been able to get good speakers, both from India and abroad. Thanks to the digital revolution, it wasn't very difficult to find somebody to speak to us from USA, UK, Singapore, who had done some good work in the field of management. The journey continues as BMA will be offering many of its services digitally and some of it in a physical format after we get the permissions for conducting conferences, etc., like the IMC, WTC, SME Chamber, etc., are all waiting for. The advantage of a BMA membership for students is mainly the learning opportunities and the opportunities to network with executives in organizations, to find mentors and guides for your projects and internships. And this is a lifelong association because you may complete your MBA. When you complete your MBA, you complete your education, but you still have to continue the learning process. And this is where an association like the Bombay Management Association will be most useful to you. Later on, I will share with you, you can see the BMA YouTube channel, which is an open subscription channel. We have over 80 videos of some excellent speakers, CEOs, SME owners, academicians, sharing their insights and wisdom on several aspects of managing individuals and organizations. Just look out for the BMA, Bombay Management Association YouTube channel, and you should be able to reach it. This is one of the important things that I thought I would share with you from an institution perspective that could be of interest and relevance to all of you. When I look at the theme of India and Bharat as the core fundamental discussion area, we're looking at how we can perhaps, one, minimize the digital divide, second, make rural opportunities for employment so that the country can do better and better. And in the process, the country is able to achieve excellence in its growth. To take this further, as some of my colleagues already mentioned in their talks, I think the most important thing is going to be skilling India. And here is where I want to tell all you young boys and girls, please do not be satisfied with the educational process that you complete when you pass out with your management degrees. Continuously try to upskill yourself. Depending on your aptitude, you could skill yourself in public speaking, you may skill yourself in business analytics, or you may skill yourself in the area of counseling. What I'm trying to emphasize to you is the course that you've completed may help you get a job in an organization. But in order to develop your career and take it to the heights of glory that you desire, you need to ensure that skilling is an ongoing process. Focus on this based on your aptitude and interest is very, very important. The second thing that I'd like to share with you is if you want to succeed in the corporate world or in the business world, knowledge alone is not enough. Skill alone is not enough. You need to develop the right set of attitude. When I'm talking about attitude, we look at values, we look at beliefs, we look at character, and all this will summarize to be your attitude. Someone had rightly said, your attitude will determine your altitude. How well you succeed, how much you grow in the corporate ladder will largely depend on not only your knowledge and skills, but your attitude. And this is something I'd urge every one of you to keep as a top priority. Developing an attitude of gratitude is a good starting point. Even the fact that we are sitting in a Zoom session like this, despite all the constraints around us, despite all the fact that the country is still trying to recover from the pandemic, just confirms that we are indeed blessed. And I think that's where the attitude of gratitude is very, very important. Sit back a moment, thank everybody who has made it possible for you to be on a learning platform like this, starting from the Almighty God to your parents, to your teachers, to your colleagues. Sometimes I think in this fast paced world, we forget to say thank you. We forget to say who are those who made us reach the pinnacle. We forgot to acknowledge the support of those who made it possible for us to reach these heights. Very, very important, the attitude of gratitude. The second most important thing that you need to focus upon is please develop your personality. It's not enough to know, but it's important to be able to share what you know. It's important to be able to convert knowledge into action. And when you get into the corporate world, like you are now in the academic world, in a transition from campus to corporate, teamwork skills, presentation skills, listening skills, stress management skills are very, very important. Use your college as a laboratory where you can learn what is required to succeed in the corporate world. And here is where you must remember that this training that you're getting, where you get to interact with industry, this bridge that we are building between industry and academia is very, very important for you to cross with the right spirit and right temperament. A couple of more thoughts that come to mind. When we talk about Atmanirbhar, all these days we were looking at the global arena to pick up the best of ideas and see how we can implement it back home. I think things have changed over a period of time, and perhaps in the last 1 year, India has demonstrated how it could be a leader, could be in getting the vaccine ready before others, and even rolling out the vaccination program for a huge population like that we have in our country. Remember, there's nothing wrong in looking at the world and drawing inspiration. But everything that succeeds in a global arena may not necessarily succeed here because there is an element of culture which is so very special to our country. And therefore, we rightly say think global, act local. Find out what is it that you can draw from the world lessons, but try to check what is it that is implementable back home in our own situations. This is often called the global theory. Think global, act local. Therefore, we should try to look around for success stories and even failures around us. One of my colleagues spoke about entrepreneurship. Yes, it's very, very important to evaluate whether you would like to work for an organization or whether you would like to set up your own business. Either of these are to be determined by you along with your family. Please remember, in good old days, entrepreneurship was restricted to those who came out of family owned businesses only. You said, my father has a company, so I will join the company and continue. Today, we notice two things. My father has a company, but I don't want to work in that company. I have a choice to work outside. Or second, I don't have a company in my family, but I would like to start the first entrepreneurship venture in my family. Therefore, small and medium enterprises, getting into micro enterprises, getting into entrepreneurship is an area which all of you should evaluate if you're interested. And let me tell you, all that you need to do is to develop the right attitude, be resilient, don't give up, learn to cope with failure, and of course, that little bit of risk taking ability to ensure that if things don't go as well as you choose to initially, you still are able to overcome the obstacles and go a step further. Please remember, the way the education system and particularly the higher education system is changing rapidly. Today, during the last 1 year, I'm sure many of you have done courses from Coursera, maybe from Swayam, from edX, from Udemy, and try to add value to yourselves. This process should continue even when you get back to college. Because what we teach you in a management institute, be it DY Patil, be it ITM, where I belong to, or any other management school in the country, we give you the basic framework. The differentiator will be what more have you done to add value to yourselves. If you have developed a certain set of skills, have the right temperament and attitude, trust me, you don't have to chase companies will chase you. And that is where we need to remember that learning is a lifelong process. And with this skilling initiatives of the government, with the NSDC approvals that so many short term courses have got, it becomes very easy for you, whether you're in the field of humanities, commerce, medicine, engineering, to keep on adding value to yourself by doing additional skilling courses of 3 to 6 months duration. Don't stop your learning process, acquire more skilling certifications, and you will see how companies then start responding to you and recognizing the talent and the ability you have. And then it becomes very, very easy for you. I'm sure many of you young minds have also studied the national education policy. What we're trying to do there is to give you opportunities to continue to learn, even if required by taking some breaks. We're giving you an opportunity to say you can enter and exit the education world at certain milestones. And as you come back and complete your course requirements, you could keep getting additional qualifications. The NEP is also talking about multidisciplinary acquisition of skills and knowledge. Today, as a science graduate, you don't get a chance to study humanities. But after the NEP is implemented, you could have a bouquet of courses which you choose to do. And that will ensure that the interdisciplinary knowledge is acquired by you. And this will add on to success in your career. Last but not the least, what I'd like to leave behind is this very important thing. Please develop a sense of social responsibility early in life. It doesn't require a pandemic to wake up our conscience and tell us how fortunate we have been and how unfortunate so many others have not been. Reach out to even one person whom you could try to help, who is in dire need because of the situation around us. Again, my colleague shared with you the grim situation of loss of jobs, unemployment, etc. in the country. Please try to be socially responsible. Don't wait to join a company and do corporate social responsibility or CSR. Please practice individual social responsibility. Ask a question: what is it that I can do so that I can help society become a bit better? and every drop in the ocean will lead to the overall society becoming a much better place for every one of us. Therefore, we should be all individually, socially responsible, practice ISR, as I just mentioned to you. The message being that we need to remember that an opportunity to help someone further their career, an opportunity to help someone get into the path of education if they could not afford it, could be the single best contribution that you could make to society. On that note, I'd like to leave my best wishes to any one of you. If there is an opportunity, we'll be happy to take some questions. Otherwise, your career should blossom into an area of your choice. Learn to take up a career where you would enjoy what you're doing, and then perhaps boredom, monotony, fatigue, and stress would never set in. Best of luck to each one of you. Good luck and God bless. Thank you.